Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all my lovely girls. Alright, so today we are going to learn the new chapter. Okay, so what is the title? The title is Homeostasis and the Human Urinary System. Okay, so this is chapter 13. Chapter 13. So we have two more chapters to go to end our syllabus for this year. Alright, so in this chapter 13, which is referred to the homeostasis and the urinary system, you are going to learn about the homeostasis, and also we are going to learn about the human urinary system. Okay, so for today, we are going to cover 3.1 homeostasis. Homeostasis. Okay, let's take a look on the learning standard that you have to cover for today. At 13.1 homeostasis, pupils are able to explain the meaning of homeostasis. Okay, then number 2, justify the necessity to maintain physical and chemical factors in the internal environment. Okay, then number 3, describe the involvement of various organ systems in maintaining an optimal internal environment. Okay, so the last one. Okay, last one is apply the knowledge of homeostasis concept in the regulation of body temperature, blood sugar level, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and also blood pressure. Okay, so these are referred to the learning standards for 13.1 homeostasis. Alright, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the first thing first is you have to know the definition of the homeostasis. Okay, so what is the meaning of the homeostasis? Okay, please remember that, right? So homeostasis is the regulation of physical and chemical factors of the internal environment within normal range for the cell to function in optimum conditions. Okay, so that is referred to the a definition of the homeostasis. It is the regulation. A regulation of what? Regulation of physical and chemical factors in the internal environment. So what is the internal environment? So internal environment refer to the space between the cells. Space between the cells. Alright, so the regulation of the physical and chemical factors in the internal environment is very important. It's very important for the cell or for the surviving of the cell. For the surviving of the cell to make sure the cell can function in optimum condition. Okay, so that is referred to the definition of the homeostasis. Okay, now let's take a look on the factors that affect the internal environment. Right? So again, what is internal environment? Internal environment refer to the space between the cells. It is an environment that refer to the spaces between the cells. Okay, so there are two factors that affect the internal environment. Okay, what are they? They are physical factors and chemical factors. Okay, example of the physical factors are temperature, blood pressure. Okay, so that are referred to the physical factors, temperature and blood pressure. Okay, whereby for the chemical factors, chemical factors, it will involve the chemical substance inside the body that are referred to the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the in the blood. And then also the pH value. Alright, so the pH value. So the pH value is depend on the hydrogen ion inside our blood, right? And then also the blood sugar level or the blood glucose level. Okay, so all of these are examples of the chemical factors. Yeah, so these two factors affect the internal environment. All right, okay, so there is a process, there is a regulatory process, yeah, to make sure that our internal environment is always in normal range, yeah, in normal range, okay, for the cell to function in optimum condition. So what is the process? It is homeostasis, right? Okay, so let's take a look on the homeostatic mechanism here. Okay, homeostatic mechanism here. Here, so for example, if the chemical, okay, we take example of the chemical factors here, which is referred to the blood sugar level. So if the blood sugar level increase above the normal range, okay, what happened? There is a regulatory system. There is a regulatory system that will decrease, the blood sugar level, to the normal range, and the blood sugar level will back to the normal range. Okay, so if the blood sugar level decrease, so what happened? There are also regulatory system, regulatory system that will increase again, will increase the blood sugar level back to the normal range. Okay, so all of this regulatory process we call as homeostasis, homeostasis. Okay, what is homeostasis? The regulation of the physical and chemical factors of the internal environment within the normal range, within the normal range. Okay, why it is important that we have to maintain in the normal range? Because in the normal range the cell can function in optimum condition. Alright, so it will ensure the surviving of the cell. Alright, so that is referred to the introduction to the homeostasis. Okay, so next we go to the organ system, to the organ system involved in maintaining an optimal internal environment. Okay, so let's take a look what are the organ systems that involve in maintaining the body temperature, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood, and blood pressure, and also the blood sugar level. So okay, so in the maintaining of the body temperature, maintaining of the body temperature, so it will regulated by the integumentary system. What is the integumentary system? Refer to the skin and sweat glands, right? Okay, skin and sweat glands. Okay, and also regulated by the nervous system, circulatory system, muscle system, and endocrine system. Okay, so all of these systems are involved in maintain the optimum body temperature. Okay, so in the maintaining the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood, it is regulated by the respiratory system, and also circulatory system and nervous system. Okay, and for the blood pressure, the organ system involved is endocrine gland, endocrine gland, and also circulatory system and digestive system. Okay, and last one is blood sugar levels. So the blood sugar level or the blood glucose level, blood glucose level regulated by the circulatory system and nervous system. Okay, so all of these are referred to the organ systems that involve in the maintaining an optimal internal environment. Alright, so now we are going to discuss the homeostasis concept, in the regulating of the body temperature. Okay, so what happened when our body temperature rise above the normal range? Alright, so the optimum body temperature for the human is 37 degrees Celsius. So what happened when our body temperature rise than 37 degrees Celsius? Okay, so there is a regulatory process, a regulatory process that applying the homeostasis. Okay, first of all, when our body temperature rise than 37 degrees Celsius, so it will detected by the thermoreceptors, thermoreceptors in the hypothalamus and also in the skin. Alright, so and then what happened? After that, the thermoreceptors will generate the impulse and send to the brain, right? And then the brain analyze, interpret, and send the impulse to the effector. Alright, so when the impulse sent to the effector, so it will trigger a response. Okay, will trigger the response. Okay, so what are the response? Okay, first of all, we are going to discuss through the physical method first. Okay. First, the erector muscles less stimulated. The erector muscle of the skin less stimulated. Okay, so this is our skin. So this is the erector muscle. Erector muscle of the skin, and this is fine hair. This is our fine hair. Okay, so when the temperature rises than 37 degrees Celsius, the erector muscles relax and become longer. The erector muscle relax and become longer, and it will cause the fine hair lowers toward the skin surface, so less heat is trapped. Less heat is trapped, or more heat is lost. Alright. Okay, and then the second one, the skeletal muscle contract and the body does not shiver. So this is our skeletal muscle. So skeletal muscle contract and the body does not shiver. So when the body does not shiver, so there is no heat is produced. Okay, and then what happened to the arterioles? Okay, so the arterioles, so this is our this is arterioles, right? So the arterioles, the arterioles will dilate. Alright, so what do you mean by the dilate? Okay, dilate. Okay, what do you mean by the dilate? Okay, so dilate refer to the expand. So our arterioles, the arteriole will expand. Okay, so the arterial dilate also we call as vasodilation. Vasodilation, when the blood vessels dilate or the blood vessels expand. Okay, so why does the arteriole expand or dilate? It's very important to allow more blood, allow more blood to flow to the skin surface. When the more blood flow to the skin surface, so more heat loss through radiation. Alright, okay, so more heat loss through radiation. Okay, the key word here is vasodilation. So what is referred to the vasodilation? Arterioles dilate or arterioles expand. Alright, so this is our arteriole. So this arteriole will expand and it will allow more blood to flow. More blood to flow to the skin surface, and the heat is lost through radiation. Heat is lost through radiation through the epidermis. Okay, and the last one. Okay, the sweat glands, sweat glands, sweat glands stimulates to produce more sweat. Right? Okay, so the sweat gland stimulates to produce more sweat. Okay, why? Why we have to produce more sweat? So the heat is absorbed. Yeah, heat is absorbed and it will evaporate. Yeah, it will evaporate the sweat and cools the skin. Right? Okay, so that is a refer to the corrective mechanism through physical method. Yeah, when our body temperature rise than 37 degree Celsius. Okay, what are the mechanism occur? First, erector muscles less stimulated, and it will cause the fine hair lowers, and it will cause more heat loss. Yeah, okay, more heat loss, and the skeletal muscle contract. The body does not shiver, so no heat is produced, and then vasodilation occur. Yeah, vasodilation occur. It is referred to the arterioles expand or dilate, to allow more blood flow to the skin surface, and the heat is lost through the radiation. And last one is the sweat gland will produce more sweat. Yeah, the sweat gland will produce more sweat. So the sweat will evaporate and will lost to the environment. Yeah, the heat is lost to the environment and cool the skin. Okay, so this is refer to the corrective mechanism that are very important to decrease, the body temperature back to the normal range. Okay, so what about through the chemical method? Okay, the chemical method also play the role to decrease the temperature, the body temperature, to back to the normal range. Okay, so what are the mechanism occur? Okay, first it will involve the thyroid gland. Yeah, thyroid gland. So this is our thyroid gland. So do you still remember the thyroid gland release what hormone? The thyroid gland will secrete the thyroxine. Okay, so what is the function of the thyroxine? Thyroxine is very important to regulate the metabolism of the body. Yeah, all right. Okay, so what the thyroid gland do? The thyroid gland does not stimulate it. When the body temperature rise above normal range, the thyroid gland is not stimulated, and the secretion of the thyroxine is reduced, so the metabolic rate decrease. Metabolic rate refer to the chemical process, that occur in the body. It will decrease, and no excess heat is generated. No excess heat is generated. Okay, so that is involved the thyroid gland. Okay, another one is involved the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. So here is referred to the adrenal gland. So adrenal gland less stimulated. Less stimulated, and the secretion of the adrenaline is reduced. So less stimulated to secrete adrenaline means that less adrenaline is secreted here. And then when the less adrenaline, it will cause the metabolic rate also decrease. Okay, so these are referred to the chemical method, the corrective mechanism through the chemical method to decrease, or lower the body temperature back to the normal. All right. Okay, so that is referred to the homeostasis concept. Homeostasis concept involving the regulating of the body temperature. Okay, so what happens if our body temperature drop below the normal range? Our body temperature drop below. So drop below means lower than 37 degrees Celsius. So first of all, it will be detected by the thermoreceptors and in the hypothalamus and also in the skin. And then it will trigger the impulse sent to the brain, and the brain analyze, interpret, and then it will send the impulse to the effector, and it will trigger the corrective mechanism. Yeah, corrective mechanism. Okay, through physical method and chemical method. Okay, let's take a look in the through the physical method first. So when our body temperature drop below the normal range, the erector muscles are stimulated. Erector muscles are stimulated, so they contract, causes the fine hair to stand erect. Okay, so the erector muscle here will contract. When it contract, it will become shorter. Yeah, so when it's shorter, it will pull the fine hair. Yeah, it will pull the fine hair to stand. Yeah, to stand erect. All right. Okay, and then the skeletal muscles contract and relax so fast that the body will shiver. Yeah, okay, the body will shiver. So the shivering occur. Yeah, shivering occur to produce more heat. All right. Okay, and then the arterioles are stimulated. Yeah, arterioles constrict here. Yeah, arteriole constrict. Okay, what do you mean by the constrict? It will so constrict refer to the size of the blood vessel become smaller. Yeah, the size. And then so this process we call as vasoconstriction. Yeah, vasoconstriction. Alright, so again, so vasoconstriction refer to the narrowing of the arterioles. Yeah? Narrowing of the arterioles, so it will cause less blood, less blood flow to the skin surface, and also less the heat loss through radiation. And okay, last one, okay, sweat gland. Okay, sweat gland are not stimulated, so the sweating does not happen, and less heat is lost to the environment. All right. Okay, so these are referred to the corrective mechanism through the physical method to increase the body temperature back to the normal range. Okay. Okay, next we go to the chemical method. Yeah, so through the chemical method, when our body temperature drop below the normal range, okay, so there are also corrective mechanism through chemical method. So it will involve the adrenal glands. Yeah, adrenal glands stimulate to secrete more adrenaline. Yeah, secrete more adrenaline. So it will speed up the conversion of the glycogen to the glucose. So the metabolic rate increase. Metabolic rate increase, all the chemical process in the body will increase. So the oxidation of the glucose release heat to warm the body. To warm the body. And also the thyroid glands. Thyroid glands also stimulated to secrete more thyroxine, so which also increase the metabolic rate. So more heat is generated for the body. Okay, so this is referred to the chemical method that involve to increase the body temperature back to the normal range. Okay, next we go to the regulation of blood sugar levels. Okay, regulation of the blood sugar levels. So our normal range of the blood sugar level is 75 until 110 milligram per 100 ml. Okay, so this is our normal range of the blood sugar level. Okay, so we are going to discuss, what are the homeostasis, homeostasis process occur when after we eat, or after having a meal, after having a meal, and also what regulatory process that occur when we fast, during fasting or between the meals. Okay, so we go first to the due to the blood sugar level increase. Yeah, when our blood sugar level increase. Okay, so our blood sugar level increase occur after having a meal. Right, so we after we eat a meal, right, a meal contain carbohydrate, right? Okay, so the meal contain carbohydrate, so this carbohydrate will be digested, yeah, digested into the glucose. All right, so it will cause our blood glucose level increase. Okay, so you have to remember that the organ that are very important in the regulation of the blood sugar level is pancreas. Okay, so this is our pancreas. Okay, because pancreas have Langerhans cells. Yeah, have Langerhans cells. So the Langerhans cells are stimulated, yeah, are stimulated after having a meal. So the beta cells in pancreatic Langerhans cells are stimulated to secrete insulin. Yeah, insulin is a hormone. Do you still remember what is the function of the insulin? Insulin will convert excess glucose into the glycogen, right? Okay, so after having a meal, yeah, our Langerhans cells in the pancreas will secrete insulin. Yeah, why? Insulin will stimulate. Okay, so what is the function of the insulin? So what the insulin do? Okay, here, insulin stimulates the muscle cells to use glucose for cell respiration, right? So insulin stimulates the muscle cell to use glucose for cell respiration, and also stimulate the conversion of the excess glucose into the glycogen, and then this glycogen will be stored in the liver and also the muscle cell. So in adipose cell, yeah, in adipose cell converts excess glucose to the fat. Okay, so that is the function of the insulin. And then what happened? So our glucose level will back to the normal range. Yeah, so the blood sugar levels go back to the normal. All right. Okay, and then we go to the next situation when our blood sugar level decrease. Okay, so when our blood sugar level decrease, usually occur during fasting. Yeah, during fasting or between the meals. All right. Okay, so the alpha cells, yeah, in the pancreatic Langerhans cells, yeah, so Langerhans cells in our pancreas are stimulated, yeah, to secrete glucagon, yeah, to secrete glucagon. So glucagon also is a hormone, yeah, secreted by our pancreas. Okay, so what is the function of the glucagon? So the glucagon stimulates liver cell to convert the glycogen to the glucose, and the glucagon also promotes the breakdown of fat to release fatty acid that can be metabolized to produce energy. Okay, so that is referred to the function of the glucagon. So the glucagon, yeah, will convert the glycogen to the glucose, and it will increase, yeah, will increase the blood sugar level back to the normal, right? Okay, so that are referred to the regulation of the blood sugar level. All right. So if a failure occur, yeah, if the failure occur in the production, secretion, and intake of the insulin, yeah, by the target cell, it will cause diabetes mellitus. Yeah, diabetes mellitus. Okay, so pernah dengar tak diabetes mellitus? Dalam bahasa Melayunya adalah penyakit kencing manis. Yeah. So this disease occur because of the failure of the production, yeah, the production of the secretion and also the intake of the insulin, yeah, by the target cell. All right. Okay, so this causes this failure will cause the diabetes mellitus, right? Okay, so please read more about the regulation of the blood sugar level, right? Okay, next, go to the regulation of partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood. The regulation of partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood. So when we talk about the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide, so of course it will involve the breathing process. Yeah. So it will control by the respiratory center. Yeah, respiratory control center in the medulla oblongata. Okay. So what happened? Yeah. So what happened when we are doing vigorous activity? Okay, so when we do the vigorous activity, our partial pressure of carbon dioxide will increase. Yeah, will increase. So there is a homeostasis process occur, regulatory process occur to uh, to maintain, to return the partial pressure of carbon dioxide back to the normal, right? Okay, so let's go to discuss this diagram. Okay, during vigorous activity, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide increases. Okay, why? Because the cellular respiration higher. All right, and then the carbon dioxide dissolve in the blood plasma form carbonic acid. Okay, we already discussed in the chapter 10, yeah, in the circulatory system, right? Okay, so the carbonic acid broke down into the hydrogen ions and also bicarbonate ions. Yeah. So the carbonic acid broke down into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. So this is referred to the carbonic acid, okay, broke down into the hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. So when there is a lot of the hydrogen ion, it will cause our pH value of the blood. Yeah, pH value of the blood will decrease, or in other words, it will become more acidic. Right, so the pH value of the blood and tissue fluid that flood the brain, yeah, which is cerebrospinal fluid, decrease. Okay, decrease means it will become more acidic, and the pH change. All right, so when the blood become more acidic, so it will change the pH of the body, change pH of the blood, right? And it will be detected by the central chemoreceptor in the medulla oblongata and peripheral chemoreceptor in the neck, carotid artery, carotid body, and also aortic body. So this is our aortic arch and aortic body here. Okay, so this is referred to the baroreceptor. Yeah, baroreceptor in the carotid artery here. So this is referred to the aortic body. Okay, so next. Okay, what happened? We go to the next slide. Alright, so I repeat, when the chemoreceptor in the carotid body and aortic body detect the changes, of the pH, okay, whereby the pH will will become lower because a lot of the hydrogen ion, right? Okay, so the chemoreceptor will detect the changes of the pH and will trigger an impulse. Will trigger the impulse, and the impulse will send to the brain, to the medulla oblongata, that refer to the respiration control center and also cardiovascular control center inside the medulla oblongata. Okay, and then what happened? The impulse, the impulse is sent, to the effector to trigger the corrective mechanism. Okay, so what are the corrective mechanism occur? The intercostal muscles, okay, between the ribs here, Yeah, the diaphragm, the cardiac muscle contract and relax quickly. Yeah, okay, so the intercostal muscle, the diaphragm here, and also the cardiac muscle, yeah, cardiac muscle of our heart, yeah, contract and relax quickly. Yeah, contract and relax quickly. Okay, and then what happened? It will cause our breathing rate, heartbeat rate, and also ventilation rate increase. Yeah, breathing rate, heartbeat rate, and also ventilation rate increase. And then more carbon dioxide is to be expelled from the lungs. Okay, so when there is more carbon dioxide expelled out, it will cause the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and the blood pH level go back to the normal range. Alright, okay, so that is referred to the regulation of the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood. Okay, when we do the vigorous activity. Okay, again, when we do the vigorous activity, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide increase, because the cellular respiration increase. Alright, okay, and then it will cause the corrective mechanism. Yeah, corrective mechanism, or it will cause the homeostasis process occur, yeah, to decrease the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood back to the normal range. Okay, last one. Okay, we go to the regulation of the blood pressure. Yeah, okay, blood pressure regulation mechanism. Okay, this is involved the blood pressure. Okay, so what happens when our blood pressure drops? Okay, usually our blood pressure drops uh, because of the situation, certain situation, yes, such as serious bleeding, yes, serious bleeding or excessive bleeding. Yeah, okay, what happened? So when the blood pressure drop, yeah, the baroreceptor in the aortic arch and carotid artery are less stimulated. Yeah, less stimulated. And then the cardiovascular control center in the medulla oblongata is also less stimulated. And then what happened? Arterial vasoconstriction occurs. Yeah, the narrowing of the blood vessel occurs. Yeah, add resistance to the blood flow in the bloodstream, and it will cause the contraction of the cardiac muscle become stronger. Yeah, so means that cardiac muscle contract and relax very quickly. Yeah, okay, cardiac muscle will contract and relax quickly and will cause the heartbeat rate increase. Okay, when the heartbeat rate increase, so it will cause the blood pressure returns to the normal range. Alright, okay, so that is referred to the regulation of when our blood pressure drop. Yeah, okay. So we go to the homeostasis process that occur when our blood pressure increase. Yeah, our blood pressure increase, especially during vigorous activities. Okay, so during vigorous activities, our blood pressure increase. It will detected by the baroreceptor. Yeah, baroreceptor in the aortic arch and carotid artery. So these baroreceptor are stimulated. Yeah, so the cardiovascular control center in the medulla oblongata is stimulated, right? And the arterial vasodilation, yeah, arterial vasodilation that refer to the expand of the blood vessels, expand of the arteriole occurs. So it will reduce the resistance to the blood flow. Yeah, because when the vasodilation occurs, so the blood vessel expand, it will cause the resistance, yeah, in the blood flow lower. Yeah, okay, resistance become lower, so it will cause the cardiac muscle contract and relax slower. Yeah, or the contraction of cardiac muscle become weaker. Yeah, can become weaker. And then what happened? The blood pressure will slowly drops. Yeah, will slowly drops because cardiac muscle contract and relax slower. And the blood pressure returns to the normal range. Okay, so these are referred to the regulation that the homeostasis process that occur. Yeah, that occur when our blood pressure increase, especially during vigorous activities. Okay, so we already discussed all the regulation, yeah, all the regulation of the first of all, regulation of the body temperature, yeah, regulation of the body temperature, regulation of the blood sugar level, yeah, and also regulation of the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and last one is the regulation of the blood pressure, yeah, okay, in our body. So all of these regulation are involved, yeah, involved in the homeostasis concept. Yeah, so all of these are homeostasis again. So again, what is the homeostasis? It is referred to the regulation of the physical and chemical factors. Yeah, regulation of the physical and chemical factors of the internal environment. So within the normal range for the cell to function in optimum condition. So it is very important for the surviving of the cells. Alright. Okay, so all of these you have to understand, yeah, to understand the concept of the homeostasis that involved in the regulation of the situation that we already discussed just now. Right. Okay, I think that's all for now. So please read again and again until you do understand the concept of the homeostasis. Alright, okay, thank you, girls. Okay, take care, everyone.